On with this. So here we are once again, Tati and Steve, the retail geniuses. Here we go. All right, so let's make fun of Alec again. I had another horrible purchasing decision that you got and experience that y'all are aware of that tied to a Christmas gift that I purchased. And again, we're not going to name names, but I bought something and it was a horrific experience to get it exchanged and returned, including multiple emails, a visit to FedEx Kinko's, print, this and that, and I still don't know where I'm at, right? And here we are on March 18th. So you can imagine how I feel about this retailer who I used to feel like this, and it's declining. So, Tati, I think you had a phenomenal retail experience recently in regards to your faucet, I believe it was, and I want to hear that so that people can understand what does greatness look like in customer experience in something as specific as an appliance like that. And then I'd love to hear from Steve, how unique is this, crew that put this together from a technical perspective or otherwise, so that we can realize like, hey, there's a lot more we can all do in the retail space. So Tati, would love to hear a bit about that killer experience you had. And then of course, Steve, your thoughts from a technical perspective and otherwise on the CX that's possible and available to others.
No, thank you. Your experience, unfortunately, is not unusual. The usual experience, and the one I expected when I called, was a similar one. I have a touch faucet in the kitchen, and it stopped working. And if you've ever had one of those, if it stops working, you just can't use your faucet, period. And so I called, figured out what the company is, called them, immediately get connected to a person very quickly. Very knowledgeable person, pull up my account immediately while we're talking on the phone, asking me questions. I don't know what the faucet is. I got the place, it was already here. I'm trying to figure these things out. Says, is this your phone number? I said, yes. Well, I just sent you a text with a link, I will click on that link and point to the faucet, and is going to get an image, capture the image of that faucet. While I was talking to the person, says, I got the model of your faucet, got it here, is confirmed that this is the problem that you're experiencing. Great. I just want to let you know that the replacement part at no cost is on its way to you. It's being shipped right now. It will arrive I made it express shipping. It arrives tomorrow. So I'm just standing there kind of like waiting for, what's the catch? Is this,
You're like, wow, that was awesome.
Drop, yeah.
okay. Thank you.
It's way better than Alec's world.
So unique, and I got to reflect about it, and it was so uniquely precise and good, but at the same time so simple, so basic, right? There's nothing that this person did that was beyond what everyone out there should be thinking about and should be doing, because that's their product, and that's and what ends up happening. Of course, my problem is solved, but I am never buying a faucet from anyone else. In fact, I looked at their website immediately to see what else they sold.
Bingo. Yeah. And that right there. And Steve, I want to pass to you, but I'm going to give Claude a shout out, right? Because I use Claude all the time in all sorts of different settings, including troubleshooting all sorts of things that you would never know that it's possible until you start interacting with these, incredible LLMs that help you solve your own problems. Then you start thinking about the retailers and you're like, well, why aren't they integrating this type of technology into their customer experience? And Tati just nailed it. So Tati had that experience. So Steve, how unique are the AI systems and otherwise that need to be enabled and invested in, of course, to enable that experience, so that we can understand, like, hey, is this possible for others?
Yeah, the reality of Tati's experience and the reality of retail is that it isn't unique. Every company can create that experience. I think that, and every company has access to those technologies, right? Whether or not it's Claude or any LLM that's out there, ChatGPT, Gemini, they have the ability to connect the data, to know Tati as a consumer, to know how to reach out to her, to basically capture various different visuals and understand and do visual recognition around what the product is. And then also having connected systems to allow them to basically get a replacement out in a very fast manner. So what that creates is a compelling experience for Tati, who's never going to go and buy another type of faucet ever in her life. And the retailers who get it right, the product companies that get it right, They are going to garner that the consumers and also be able to have that ability, word of mouth, to say, talk about these stories, talk to your friends, talk on social media around those experiences. So reality of retail is everybody can do it.
So I love that. And I agree 110% with you. And I'm going to lead the witness a little bit, Steve,
Yeah.
so let's just say we're sitting in, because we are digitally, right? There's all sorts of people that'll be consuming this and listening to it and watching it, et cetera. What is the number one obstacle that surfaces when you're sitting with a, cross-functional group of leaders in a retail environment, including, technical leaders, and you start walking them through that example? And what's the first thing they throw up as, well, that I hear you, but we can't because our legacy systems don't talk to each other and it's too expensive to rip and replace and risk. Like, is it that, or is it something else? Like, what's the first one or two objections that you have to handle after you describe an incredible story like that, including the lifetime value of Tati, right? That's a heck of a proposition. So love to hear from you, Steve, and then maybe Tati afterwards. Like, what's the first or second, like, objection,
Yeah. I'll mention three kind of blockers for those companies. I think number one, it's siloed data. So, various different data in various different systems. And the second aspect is those systems don't talk to each other, right? So not only is data over here, data over there, but you can't actually get the system to talk to each other. And the third, and this is where I'll turn it over to Tati based on her experience, there is layers within the organization, call it bureaucracy, whatever it may be, that don't allow for companies that are larger to really break down those barriers, either between the systems or between the data, or they've never really invested in the technologies that are out there today to really put a layer of connective tissue on top of it.
Great answer. Tati, would love to hear your thoughts as well. Steve just nailed it.
I will add to what Steve said a couple of things. One is exactly on that, like the not just siloed data, but you have siloed work. You have different parts of the organization that are working. So, is technology or tools the responsibility of IT? What is the role that operations plays on this? We've talked about this many times, how one of the early pitfalls for companies is not having the teams work together from the get-go. Oftentimes, by the time you get the tool, it's happened to me multiple times, that you get the tool when you're informed that you're getting a certain tool, or you're informed that you're getting an upgrade or something into your system. A contract's already signed, the scope has already been defined, or at least predefined. And so there's so many different issues with that, and not having that participation beforehand. A lot of times, the issue with that and also with bringing that technology in is another elephant in the room, which is the team and the resources that leader has to, whether it is project management or putting this together or defining scope and all of that. So it's, it's a little bit of like, should I raise my hand? This is not my issue, right? This is not let another team do that. So having the right partner that can help you with that, in addition, that can build that bridge in addition to providing you with the technology. Because I'll mention that as my second issue from a retailer's perspective, is that we have been sold so many silver bullets.
Yeah.
So many, solutions that will make all your dreams come true, to quote Napoleon Dynamite. And, there no such luck. And, they fall short by quite a bit. So there's that apprehension of like, well, you're just going to kind of sell this to me, try to get the best deal out of this, and then walk away and then just move on. Or worse, try to keep selling me upgrades to whatever you sold me that doesn't really work in the way that I need for it to work. So I've experienced that many times. So how do you get to a place where there's that relationship and that trust that this tool first actually solves the problem? And I had to personally, this is my journey with AI and with technology, to really understand what could be done, because some of it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah, for sure.
And from so many providers out there, so many vendors, it is, because what they're selling you is not going to do that. But then, they have people like Steve that are actually making these changes, are delivering these results, and shout out to Blue Sky AI for that. But I think that believing you actually solve my problem is the second largest problem in my view, that you got to get over that from a retailer's perspective.
Yeah, I that's excellent. And I know we got, 2 more minutes here, but I want to ask one question I guess I'll go to you, Tati, and if we have time, I'll go to Steve as well. But what kind of feedback loops and change management, help could these retailers use to surface the big aha? Because, for example, your customer lifetime value just skyrocketed with that company because of that customer experience. Just like with me, the retailer who I made this purchase, they don't realize it, but I would be a long time customer because my wife absolutely adores cooking and she's phenomenal at it. And so how do we help retailers help themselves in these areas?
By working with them in figuring it has to be a tailored approach, because there are some general principles that govern this. There are some general principles of customer experience that will apply, but the flavor, as I say, we're going to get ice cream, but the flavor is going to be different for each one of us, because it has to be. Otherwise, it won't solve the problem. It's a bit of a paradox on having something that is so easily understandable and simple. And even in this company, as I think about that fantastic experience that I had on the phone, when I think about customer lifetime value, an opportunity that they've missed so far is, for example, right after that, sending me a discount coupon, or sending me or getting me involved in something interesting that we're doing, or connecting me, or maybe testing something new for them, whatever it is that makes sense for your business model. How do you continue to engage? So it's beyond just, so that is step number one when it comes to customer lifetime value, is engaging with you in a way that adds value to your life and creates a great experience. But beyond that, and that's again where you, as a retailer, as a leader, I would like to take all the help I can get there from experts, from domain experts, from people that say, you know what, this is the way, this is our path, this is the road that we need to take here. These are the things we need to do.
I agree. Steve, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the advancements of technology that we have right now with various different AI agents, we can leave the data in the systems where they are. So kind of meet the retailer where they are and basically connect each of those systems utilizing that tech, utilizing agents to basically bring that data together. So I think it is a pivotal point in time. The advancements in AI have grown up in the last 2 years for sure, and going back 10 years, right? So we were doing some of this stuff with when I was at IBM and working with Watson like 10 years ago, but now it's really taken off. And providing the ability to basically leave the data where it's at, extract it out, pull it up, and then be able to combine that with large language models and provide a good consumer experience based off those answers is really the secret sauce. So
couldn't agree more. And we'll leave it on that. That's an awesome conversation. And again, I love how tangible you all both make it while introducing the advances in more of this AI technology that can be a bit overwhelming for folks. So Tati, Steve, as always, thank you. And we'll talk to you again sometime soon.
Thank you.
thanks, Alec.